turn, he goes, you ready position? He's got a nice high take back. This is probably even going to be a higher take back because we're going to see a really high contact point. Look at the front shoulder though. It's turned more than sideways. The right arm has straightened out. The left arm is straightened out. Okay, so we've got an inside close to his body racket. Now can track away, and look at the left arm. Look at the distance away from the body. Really nice spacing. When the ball and the racket hit, notice the wrist is not flipping. Still hasn't flipped. It's actually not really going to flip much at all. He's going to release this shot from the elbows. Now, this is a difficult shot just because of the height. So I just really want to stress that the fundamentals are still there. No, he's not sitting in a chair, but he's still got his body down. Okay, look at the knee bend, and then the knees will straighten out right here. Okay, so we've got that same math going on. Okay, here is Rublev. Look at the racket. It's going to come from in, be slightly hooded, tracks out. He hits it. Look at the straight arm on the left arm. Okay, now the racket's releasing. And you could even argue there's a reason Djokovic has a better backhand than Rublev does. Part of it is, look at Rublev. He goes right to what we call a reset low backhand. So he takes his racket low right away. It's inefficient because what if he gets a ball that goes high to his shoulder height, like Zverev did? He has to now re-bring the racket back up, okay? But he's going to do the main things right, which is he hits inside out, okay, out of the left arm, extends, and then through. Let's look at Nadal's. Okay, so comes from in. Here we go. Racket goes slightly high. It free falls. Okay, this is the big thing. Look at the shoulder turn. So he can swing inside out. Notice that the racket here, we got a few frames, okay, of the backhand. It's not wristy. It's not breaking across the ball. Okay, so he's going to have no problem tracking out to the target. Do you see how far he tracks out to the target on that? You can only do that if you're far enough away from the ball where you can swing inside out, okay? The other thing I want to bring up, we see this a lot. Look at his wrist action here. Okay, look at the racket. It's going to flip. The important thing to understand is he is not consciously using his wrist right here. This is him starting to uncoil the hips and the shoulders, and that's what makes his racket move like this. So you would make a huge mistake to consciously try to break your wrists. You don't want to do that. You just want to uncoil, and if you are relaxed enough, your racket, the racket will kind of flip on its own. But the worst thing you could do is consciously try to make your wrist do what his does right here, okay? So be mindful of that. When you try to copy the pros, you got to copy the right things. You can't copy things that they get for free. They're not consciously trying to do it. It's Kachanov, been playing really good tennis. But look at the math. It's inside out, no wrist across the ball, releases from the elbows, okay? Here's how we know they're not releasing their wrists, okay? Caden, when he comes here, you see how his racket doesn't look like this? Their rackets look like this, where they point back over the shoulder. They don't look like this. This is what amateur tennis players do, is they break their wrists to try to get that spin. They get their spin from the inside-out path up the Ferris wheel, releases from the elbows, and they'll finish looking like that. So really important you guys have that understanding. Parker, will you help her with that? Does anybody have any questions on this? Maud, do you have a question? Ella Gonzalez, this is your first week? Do you have a question? No. Okay. Do we see how the math is similar to the forehands that we watched last week? It's similar swing patterns, okay? So for those that were not here last week, you're going to stay, or the week before, you're going to sit here with me, and we're going to look at the forehand side. Those that have seen the forehand video, compilation of the ATP forehands, go shadow on the cones, start getting warmed up. Use this visual to inform it, okay?